The legislature is gone from Albany. We're all back home now. The session has been concluded. You obviously know the major events that have occurred. There are a couple of criminal justice matters that you might not have heard have become law. Texting while driving is now going to be a separate offense. A police officer will be able to separately arrest someone solely for that activity. The prior law was that they could only be stopped if they were doing something else that was illegal at the same time. There is also an interesting change in the law with respect to the prosecution of identity theft. There were some jurisdictional issues in relation to prosecuting elements of identity theft. If the identity theft occurred in Brooklyn, but certain items were stolen in another part of the state or in another county, you could not be prosecuted for the two separate crimes together in one county. Now that's going to change. You will be a person who commits an identity theft in Brooklyn and steals goods or services in Suffolk County can be prosecuted either in Suffolk for all those crimes there in Suffolk or all those crimes in Brooklyn. So that'll be useful for suppression of crime. One further item that I think you ought to know about: there's been a major overhaul in the laws governing the ethics and conflicts of interest of elected officials and elected officials' employees and members of the executive branch of state government, meaning commissioners and people of that nature. Some of the corruption cases that occurred over the past 7 or 8 years, where various members of the legislature were indicted and convicted of corruption, related to people's outside business interests and concealed bribes in relation to legislators' outside business interests. Now we have passed a law that any time a legislator has any kind of outside business interest, including being a lawyer or something, or a consultant or a real estate broker, they will have to disclose who their clients are. Who their clients are if that representation of that client has anything to do with the state of New York. Meaning if they had a contract or a lease or a grant or a representation in a case or a proceeding before a state agency, if there's any connection to the state of New York, you'd have to disclose who that client was. And also, if you referred a client to your law firm or something like that, you would have to disclose that. Very significantly, if someone has been convicted of corruption, you could lose your pension. Meaning that the punishment could include not just the punishment for the crime, but also possibly the punishment involving loss of your pension if it involved corruption in your public service and your public life. This will not apply to incumbents because the state constitution does not permit elimination of pension benefits for people who are in the system, but all people going forward. Anybody coming into the public sector, whether they're an elected official or an employee, could have their pension removed. It's not automatic. The district attorney who brought the case would have to apply to a judge, and the judge could make a determination based on the facts and circumstances whether it was appropriate to reduce that person's pension by a modest amount up to 100%. So this is designed to be an antidote to lots of the problems involving corruption of public officials that have occurred in the past, and it's a major change. So these are some things that have happened up in Albany that maybe you haven't heard about too much, but which will affect us going forward, as well as the major things that you heard about: marriage equality and the renewal of the rent laws. Okay, so that's my shtick about the state legislative session, and I want to wish all of you well. Have a wonderful evening, and once again, best wishes to our new commander. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.